When I start manipulating images or elements, it's where the differences between Google Docs and Google Slides becomes really apparent. So at the moment, I've got 4 elements. I've got the text, I've got Maui, I've got Hey Hey, and I've got Moana. Each one of these exists independently and is its own item. Now, when I move them around, the others don't jump around the page. Like within Word or in Google Docs, they suddenly jump and change position. Here, they don't. Now, when I move Maui up at the top here, you'll notice that half of the text behind him disappears. The best way to explain this is to think of the canvas as your piece of paper, and these 4 items have all been cut out from paper. So I've taken them out of magazines or whatever. Now, I realise that Maui has actually got a white background. This becomes more apparent, and just this isn't something I'd normally do, but I'm just going to do it so it becomes a bit more obvious. I'm going to just put a background colour in so that you can see what these pictures actually look like. You can see that Maui and Moana both have a white background around them. So it's almost like I've cut them out using a rotary cutter and I just cut the square out. The text Moana and Hey Hey actually have got no background. Now, there is an option I can use online where I can clear the backgrounds out from them to make all these pictures behave like Hey Hey and Moana. You notice when I put him there, he just covers up what he covers up. His background doesn't cover anything up. The background colour shows through. So that's something I need to be aware of. It's also something I can use to my advantage at times as well. Now, when I drag Maui up here, he automatically goes over the top of Moana. That's because I'm putting him on top of Moana. If I bring the other way around, the same happens because they are in order. It's not which one I grab first, it's the order that they're in. Now, it's a little fiddly to get to. Once you get your head around it and use the setting, it's really easy. So I'm going to drag Maui up here, and I reckon if I put him over there, I can see that his head will probably be all right. The A should come down to top of his head, and his fish hook should be out of the way over there. But I need to make sure that Moana, the word, comes out above him. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Maui, and with a right click, and if I come down here, one of my options is order. Now, at the moment, he's at the front, so I could send him backwards. That pushes him back a layer. But to be honest, I might as well send him all the way to the back. So now he's below the text of Moana. He's the lowest level, so he's at the bottom of the pile. That means that I can have him sitting underneath Moana there, and he's not getting rid of the A or covering anything up because Moana's not got a background. Moana covers it up nicely, the text. Now, just to show with the background, that looks a little bit silly, so I'll get rid of my background now, and we'll just make it a transparent or a white background again. So suddenly you can see the effect that has. Hey Hey was more useful because he had no background, so you can go wherever and it doesn't really matter. I could bring Moana forward a little bit. Again, I've got the same issues with her, but she'll fit over there quite nicely. If I bring the chicken down here, again, because they're elements, I can edit them and adjust them, so I can rotate them. I seem to remember the chicken spent most of his time upside down at various points, so I could have him up like that. They don't have to be rigidly fixed into 90-degree angles either. You can have them at all sorts of different angles. You can use the corner element to grab them and move them around a bit. If you're doing anything really fancy and you want them to move together, so I decided actually I really like the position of the chicken and I really like the position of him, or I really like the position of the text and I really like the position of him. If I press and hold Control and then click on the second item, I've now got both items selected together. If I right click, I get the option to group these items together. So now I've got Moana, the text Moana and Maui grouped together. So if I drag one of them, I drag them both together. So I spent all that time lining them up and getting my layers right. I've now got them fixed together so they'll stay together no matter where I move them. And I also have the very powerful ability to resize them together, which can be really helpful if I've made something big and then want to shrink it down to a more manageable size. Again, I could add more items to the group. So I've got a group of 2 items. I could add Hey Hey to that as well by clicking on that group and him and join the group. If I ever want to ungroup them to separate them out again, all I'd have to do is right click on the group and just click on ungroup. So that's a basic of moving the items around and formatting and playing with them. You'll notice there was the animate setting, and we'll look at that in a later video, but it's quite a powerful tool being able to move these characters around, and the fact that they act independently from each other means that you can do quite a fair bit of graphic design with them at a low level, and a lot of things that we used to do in Publisher you can actually do on a Google slide. Of course, this also applies to text boxes, so you can bring in your text boxes or you can bring in your call outs. So I could bring a call out here, call it fancy for speech bubble. So I bring my speech bubble across here, use the little adjuster, and something appropriate for him to be saying would be plop. And then I've got another item that I can move around again. I can adjust the text inside that one. I can make it more central. I could change the background of that to being anything I wanted. And again, it might make sense to group those two together. And once I've got them grouped, I can resize them together as well and move them around. So that is the adjustments and movements of items. I've just spotted she's got a name at the bottom. I might want to cut that off using crop, but there is lots and lots you can do. And of course, you can, if you want to, just copy and paste them to repeat the amount of items you have. If you find you want more than one of something, copy and paste, and you can have plenty of them at the same time. Anytime you get sick of one, just click on it, click delete, and it's gone.